Appearance on Dion's Daily Dose does not imply endorsement from or by any candidate or guest. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by Dion Bergeron or Dion's Daily Dose are his own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of any guest. Material and information presented is for general information purposes only. The Dion's Daily Dose name in all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owners, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service. If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose.
All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Glad you could join us today. We decided to do something a little bit different. And what I mean by that, there we go, is we decided we're just going to do a free-form chat here. Let me grab Shawn. There he is.
Hello.
Hi, we're going to do a free-form chat here where we talk about kind of current events right before we get to the breakdown tonight. So make sure you tune back in or stay tuned. We're actually going to break for a short period of time and then go live again at 7 Central. And Shawn has all of the pertinent, really interesting bits, I think, of the Secret Service director, at least the former Secret Service director. Thank God she resigned.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the first piece of integrity I have seen from these people. So she resigned, but there's a lot to cover in the hearing. The hearing was hours long.
Yeah, it was 4 hours.
4 hours long. Luckily, Shawn went through, got to the timestamps for us, so we're going to have an opportunity to really get to the meat and potatoes of the matter. But let's just talk. We're going to do this a little differently. So this is kind of a peek behind the curtain, right? What we normally do before we go live is we will do pre-recorded videos and then release those when Shawn's not able to be here, which is most nights. He has a job. He works. He's not able to be here every night at 7 p.m. So it's been a good way to do that. This is my job, and I've been slacking this weekend. Oh my goodness, it was an insane weekend. I decided to take my son. I told you this already, but I decided to take my son to the range. And the one that we like is the Jasper Pulaski one. And the reason that we go there is because, number one, the one in Kingsbury sucks. I don't know if have you ever been to the range in Kingsbury? It just sucks. There's the what's really unfortunate about it is the setup is really good. It's a good range. It's a good setup. But the rules and regulations are ridiculously over the top. I mean, it's like, imagine if the ATF had a range open to the public kind of thing. It's that level.
Is that in Indiana?
Yeah. What, Kingsbury? Yeah, it's over by LaPorte.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just south of LaPorte on 35.
I don't think I've ever been there.
Through LaPorte. You haven't been over there?
I don't think I've ever been there.
Well, the Jasper Pulaski range is, if you go south on 421 and you go all the way just past La Crosse, there's another little town that I can't remember the name of right now. Past that little bitty town, there's a turnoff, and it's the Jasper Pulaski Wildlife Area, right? Just past that turnoff, there's another one that goes to the actual range. And they have different ranges set up there. You got the 25-yard, the 50-yard, 100, and I think 200 or 250-yard range, right? The 50-yard one, or the 25-yard one, whatever the smallest is for shotguns, right? It's set up for clay shooting and stuff like that. But you can also go and put targets. So that's what we started with, because I got this, what I think is a really, really nice shotgun a little while back that I use for home defense, but I haven't had an opportunity to take it to the range. So we wanted to take it out there, check it out, see how it was, right? For what it's worth, it did very, very well. It's a relatively inexpensive one, but it's kind of nice. I'm gonna grab it. I might grab it.
Okay.
Yeah, hang on. You want to chat in the meantime?
Sure.
Have you what, like, is there a range that you prefer?
I don't think I've ever been to a gun range.
Ever?
Uh-uh.
You never been shooting at a range?
I shot guns before.
Shot out in the country in somebody's backyard. Okay. So it's a Churchill, right? And it's got the pistol grip on it, right? Got the nice stock. Got the breech barrel on it. I don't know if you guys can see that, right? I still got to clean it, so don't hate that it's dirty. But we took it out. We took this out and shot it at the range. She is incredibly accurate, the gun. Donovan's actually quite good with the shotgun. His shoulder really hurts the next day. We put some bird shot through it. We put some I don't know what the actual name of it, but basically BBs, right? The fairly large size home defense round BBs to make sure he could get where he needed to go with it. And we were going to put some slugs through it, but we decided to just hold off because we switched to the AR, right? I have a relatively inexpensive DPMS Panther AR-15. And we went to the range. Now, we were out there the previous day on Saturday and plinking away, having fun. Everything was okay, but we got there late. So we went again on Sunday, and we're out there, and it was just issue after issue after issue.
That's what you were saying.
Yeah, it jammed. A part of my Beretta broke. Like, dude.
It was not your day.
It was not my day. So we came home, and by the time I came home, I was so annoyed and I was just that I decided not to do a video. And then the wife just got home from out of town. She went to a funeral for a family member of hers that I mentioned before had passed away. So she just got home last night. So yeah, I didn't mess with it. But normally what we do is we chat about the stuff that we're going to do a video on, and then we record the video and then throughout the week. Now, I still have a few that I'm going to put out, and we are going to go back to doing that. But I figured it'd just be a good time to chat with you, the fans, and kind of see what's on your mind, what you'd like to see. Do you guys enjoy the breakdowns that we do? Those seem to get really good engagement. People seem to like them. I think today's is going to be very, very interesting. I know you guys had to have seen a few of the viral clips that are out there, but this is a much more targeted, detailed.
And they're my favorite to do too, because I'm watching the hearings anyway.
Yeah. He watches these hours-long hearings anyway. I can do like clips, right? I can't sit there for 4 hours and my mind starts to just wander. And I think that's the situation for a lot of Americans. We want to be tuned in. I want to know what my so-called elected officials are doing. I want to know like how these hearings are going. But sitting there for 4.5 hours watching it, just no. Oh, and one more thing that I want to point out. So I am wearing my Team Greer shirt, right? You guys, Bobby Greer, he is a power lifter, and his daughter is also a power lifter.
They were on the show.
They were on the show. Yeah, look it up. This is actually when he went to Costa Rica.
Okay.
This is from the Costa Rica trip. I don't know if you guys can see. Team Greer, wrong way.
Team USA.
Team USA, yeah. So I'm wearing his merch. I had wanted to wear it when they were on the show, but I couldn't find it. So I found it. It was tucked away in another separate box somewhere for some reason. And I was like, oh, yay, my shirt. So decided to show you guys I do still have it. So, yeah. So let's kind of dive in. First of all, that was, and we're going to get into it again, 7:00 tonight. We're going to talk about the full hearing, but that was one of the most disgraceful performances I have ever seen.
Yeah.
From the head of an administration.
And she was purposely being
obtuse.
Yes.
She was being obtuse and deceptive.
And Nancy Mace, the congresswoman from South Carolina, completely had it. And I imagine her time went viral.
Yes, I've seen that's, as a matter of fact, I was going to say that is probably one of the most viral moments from that hearing was Nancy Mace from South Carolina just laying into her. And there's one more that I hope you got where the guy says, go back to guarding Doritos. Again, tune in at 7. We're going to have all that. But
yeah, that was Representative Fallon from Texas.
Excellent. So one of the things that caught me from this, I want you guys to look at the sequence of events, right? The timing, because we're told all the time, and it's true, timing is everything. You can have a great career, or like, for example, you invest in Microsoft, right? You invest in Microsoft a week ago, your stock has tanked. You invest in Microsoft in the early 80s, you're same thing with Amazon, right? Google, all these big companies, getting on the beginning of it is the key. Timing is everything. So we saw in the news that Sheila Jackson Lee has passed away from cancer. That's the first I ever heard of her having cancer.
And I pay really close attention, and I didn't even know she had cancer.
Right. Bear in mind, Shawn is like, he's my source for national news.
And I didn't even know I was surprised when I got that alert.
Yeah, I have never seen anything about her having cancer. Never, ever. I kind of pay attention to it just because I find it interesting how even the wealthy get cancer. No, this was the first I can remember seeing anything about her having some form of cancer.
Yeah.
So it goes from that to how, like that, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Cheadle lets us know during the hearing, she gives a shout out. And listen, I want to say this. I am not a fan of Sheila Jackson.
I'm not either. I
think she was an idiot. She said some of the most ridiculous things when it comes to guns.
And she was one of the worst Congress people to work for.
Yes, that's what I've heard. I've heard she treated her staff like absolute garbage.
She did.
All of that said, I do not wish harm on her.
I do not either.
I wasn't celebrating
I wasn't
her
either.
passing the way that some on the left were celebrating the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. No, because we're not slime like that.
No.
All of that said, the timing is very, very weird. So you get this attempted assassination attempt on Trump. You get Lee passing. You get Cheadle having the opportunity to remind everyone, yes, it was we're sorry to see her pass. She was an integral part. No, right? However, she made sure that everyone knew that Lee was actually very closely involved in the Secret Service.
I think what she meant to say with the oversight over this.
Right. Okay. Maybe so, but it was a weird statement.
But they usually do that when somebody dies like
right.
that.
That's what I was going to say. There's nothing odd. Let me be clear a little bit. There's nothing odd about someone, I guess, paying homage to someone who passed, especially if they were involved, right? If they were part of the oversight committee of the Secret Service, it's perfectly natural to go, we mourn the loss of, right? What was odd to me was her choice of wording when talking about Rep. Lee and the involvement in the Secret Service. Now, did she just mean part of the oversight committee? Maybe.
That's what I think it was. But
maybe that's the case.
But I got the clip stamped for us to do it later.
Yeah, at 7:00, remember. But the other thing that's really odd is right after that, right? All this stuff happens at once. Then you get Resident Ice Cream all of a sudden decides, after enormous pressure from the left.
Yeah, they were talking about 25th Amendment.
Yeah, they were talking about 25th Amendmenting him, about legit just yeet the rug right out from under him and getting rid of him altogether. Suddenly, we get a letter without presidential letterhead. Some are calling into question the signature. Have you seen that?
I have. After you said something, I looked at it. And it is kind of weird.
And it's sus. Apparently, he underlined his name, which he never does. There are other inconsistencies in the signature.
And another weird thing that happened, my brother and I talked about, was Friday. They were saying by Sunday at 2 p.m., Joe Biden will have been dropped out of the race. How did they know that it was going to be Sunday at around 2 p.m. that it was announced?
Who said that?
I don't remember.
You remember?
Who said that? I think it was somebody who said that to Fox News. I remember watching it on Fox.
Interesting. Well, what I find interesting too, did you see that leaked video of the guy who recorded Trump at the golf course? Where Trump was talking about they're just horrible, blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
Did you see that? And it was supposed to like make him look bad, right?
Yep.
In that video, Trump said Biden's not going to run again. He's going to drop out. This was like a week before, at least a week. I mean, it was a little bit, and the people were making fun of, Donald Trump don't know what he's talking about.
I think he knew after the debate.
Once again, Trump is proven right.
I completely forgot about that. He did say that.
There's, again, a lot of weird things going on, a lot of strange inconsistencies, a lot of unusual timing on stuff.
It's going to be interesting tomorrow because Biden's going to address the nation too.
Yeah. So, okay. So that was the other thing, right? We have heard that people ask proof of life because all we got was an X post and then a letter on not presidential letterhead with a weird signature on it claiming I'm just not going to run again. Right. Then I don't know if you saw this, but there are a whole lot of duties that are suddenly being shuffled around and being basically given to this secretary and that secretary, presidential duties. Have you seen this?
No, I have not.
Yeah. So let me pull that up and I'll show you. Let's see here.
Now that's kind of weird.
Yeah. There's let's see here. Okay, hold on. Let me see here. I mean, just I think it's on. Let's see. Let's see. Duties. I mean, this was very recently. Various secretaries. Let me see here. This is whitehouse.gov. And it was a recent statement, I thought. Let's see here.
Do you know who it was?
I don't remember. That's what. Wait. Hold on. I think I might have found it. Let's see here. Okay, so I know it was something to do with the Ukraine
aid.
Yeah. Okay, so hold on. This is from the most recent. Okay. So allegedly, this is allegedly a statement from Biden on Secret Service Director Cheadle. This isn't what I was looking for, but let's see what he has to say, shall we? Okay. So this is from today, and again, we get just some statements from whitehouse.gov, which, hold on, before I get into this, I do want to say this. Did you notice how quickly everything transferred to Harris? It's almost like there was a plan in place, because from his X account, right, for the time that went out on the X account, which I'm not going to run for re-election, right? I endorse Harris. All of a sudden, whatever it is, JoeBiden.com redirects to Harris. Okay, but all of the social media accounts from, it used to be Biden Harris HQ. Excuse me. Now it's like Kamala Harris HQ. Hiccups again. Grr. Yeah, it was startling and staggering how quickly everything was.
And
geared.
they waited until the convention was over too, the Republican convention.
Yeah, which is, the timing is very, very suspicious. But let me show you guys this so-called letter. Jill and I are grateful to Director Kim Cheadle for her decades of public service. She has selflessly dedicated and risked her life to protect our nation throughout her career in the United States Secret Service. And don't forget Pepsi. We especially thank her for answering the call to lead the Secret Service during our administration, and we are grateful for her service to our family. So we're going to get into that in just a second, because there's a point I want to make. But as a leader, it takes honor, courage, and incredible integrity to take full responsibility for an organization tasked with one of the most challenging jobs in public service. That's funny. I don't remember her taking responsibility during that, except saying the buck stops with me, but then refusing to answer any questions. The independent review to get to the bottom of what happened on July 13th continues, and I look forward to assessing its conclusions. We all know what happened that day can never happen again. As we move forward, I wish Kim all the best, and I will plan to appoint a new director soon. I bet you will. So, what do you know about Kim Cheadle? Because I was like, okay, I knew only that she was in charge of the U.S. Secret Service. And I also know that she used to work for Pepsi, because the guy said, go back to guarding Doritos. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Oh, she used to work for Pepsi.
And she was just, from the hearing, it said she worked for the Secret Service for 27 years before, just as an agent.
Yeah, so she was
I don't know a lot else.
I don't know much else. So allegedly, and my wife is the one who discovered this, apparently she was very good friends with Michelle Obama.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Let's see here.
That's an interesting week.
Let's see. Let me find it. Blah, 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 blah. It's all about the da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, I'm not looking at New York, or the New York Times' information, because it's trash. We'll check the Journal. Let's see here. Okay, so let's just look at this real quick. So this is the Wall Street Journal, which is, generally factual, but definitely slanted. Can we agree with that?
Yeah.
Generally factual. Kimberly Cheadle applied to join the Secret Service before she graduated from college in 1992. For nearly 30 years, the job gave her a front row seat to history. She was part of a team that secured VP Dick Cheney on September 11, 2001, working in the White House at a moment when many feared Washington was facing an imminent attack. She later served on Biden's protective detail, where she was assigned to Jill Biden and built a rapport with her through a combination of competence and affability, former agents said. After a year-long stint in the private sector, I think that's when she worked for Pepsi as like regional security director or head of global security, something. She worked for PepsiCo. Cheadle returned in 2022 to run the agency that shaped her life. Blah, 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 blah. Largely unknown outside of Washington before Saturday's shooting. Her initial days in the spotlight haven't done particularly well. In an on-air interview with ABC News, Cheadle said she was ultimately responsible for any failure to secure the Butler, PA site. But she didn't. She made a widely panned comment about the rooftop being too sloped for law enforcement. That was one of the most ridiculous statements I've ever heard. Especially considering the roof they were actually on was steeper than that one.
And there was a House delegation that actually went to the area where the shooting was yesterday, and a 60-year-old congressman was doing fine with the slant. There was no reason why the Secret Service couldn't have went on there.
It was ridiculous. Okay, so we're not looking blah, 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 blah. I was looking to see if it got more into her relationship. Yeah. Okay, maybe she was friends with Jill. I think
it was
Let's
Jill.
See here. Let's find out.
I'll look it up too.
Okay, so yeah, here it is. Yep. So in August 2022, as Biden closed in on his selection of a new director, Secret Service officials arranged to get photographs of Cheadle and at least one other top contender. According to a person familiar, Biden appointed Cheadle just days later, a quick turnaround that former agents viewed as underscoring the closeness of her relationship with the president and his wife. So, yeah. She was Resident Ice Cream's fake doctor's wife.
I see.
Yeah. So yeah, that politics. So under her tenure, she has become known among current and former agents for embracing a push known as the 30 by 30 initiative. Where have we heard that before? To have women fill more law enforcement roles. As director, Cheadle has brought the Secret Service's workforce above 8,000 with a goal of topping 10,000 by the 2028 Olympics in LA, blah, blah, blah. She has also created a subsidy program for child and elderly care in light of the amount of time Secret Service employees spend traveling for work. I don't hate that. That part I don't hate.
For the 30 for 30 thing, it should be the best person for the job.
Exactly. Once again, we're seeing DEI in action, right? I am not opposed to hiring a woman for whatever role, as long as they're the best person for the job. I don't care whether you have lady bits or man bits. What I care is, can you do the job?
Exactly.
And what we saw from the attempted assassination of Donald Trump was, in many cases, these women are too small. They're just too small to block and do what they're supposed to do in that particular circumstance. Now, go ahead.
And they were supposed to help him up. And if you look at the video, it's just a couple guys trying to lift up Trump.
Right. If
they're not strong, they're not made like a man.
They're not physically strong enough to lift the president. So one of the most interesting things in tonight's video that I wanted to call you guys' attention to, there is a particular theory that Donald Trump is still ongoing the commander-in-chief. Now, a lot of people don't give much credence to this theory for a variety of reasons, which we won't really get into right now. Do your own research on that. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. What I am saying is that there was a very, very interesting statement made by Director Cheadle during this hearing.
And I know what comment you're referring to.
Yeah, she specifically mentions...
I don't believe it, but people can have
government. Right. She specifically mentions those words, and it's a very, very unusual response to the question that was asked. Tune in. We'll talk.
I have the timestamp.
Yeah. In the meantime, though, I want to show you guys something because this is very interesting. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So this is from Dr. Russell McGregor. His @ on X is @ KILLAU Deep State. Okay? Why did James Clapper, DNI, which is Director of National Intelligence,
Yep.
and Loretta Lynch, Attorney General, AG, sign an amendment to Executive Order 12333 just after President Trump was elected in November of 2016? What is Executive Order 12333? Let's find out. United States intelligence activities. Preamble looks like it's many, many pages long. So we're not going to go through the entirety of it. Hopefully, he mentions more. Let's see. In short, the intelligence agencies that spied on candidate Trump illegally, remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. As such, the deep state had to hurriedly change the rules after committing their crimes. Thus, they reworked Section 2.3 to allow raw signals intelligence collection by the NSA. So that's what they're talking about. So it says here, I established the foregoing raw SIGINT availability procedures in accordance with Section 2.3 of EO 12333. So Section 2.3, let's find out what that says, because that's specifically what it addresses. 2.3, here it is, collection of information. Elements of the intelligence community are authorized to collect, retain, or disseminate information concerning United States persons only in accordance with procedures established by the head of the intelligence community element concerned or by the head of a department containing such element and approved by the Attorney General, consistent with the authorities provided by Part 1 of this order after consultation with the director. Blah, 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 blah. It's going through all this stuff, and it's talking about basically what they're allowed to do and how they're allowed to do it, right? What information is okay. And we go back to this. The deep state changed the rules. They allowed raw signals intelligence collection by the NSA. Okay. They then classified it until the 31st December 2041. The problem is Trump found out and declassified it in 2019, 22 years early. Here is the original EO 12333 made by Ronald Reagan. And here is the now declassified deep state amendment made just before Trump was inaugurated. It's the cover-up that gets you. As Q says in Q Drop 3490, exactly 5 years ago, quote, will become extremely important. You can't get away with treason. Buckle up, buttercups. So this person asks, WR Shock, QBD, did James Clapper and Loretta Lynch modify EO 12333 to make it legal to spy on a president and classify it for 25 years so no one would find out? I think that's possible. Here's the sign by Clapper and Lynch shortly after POTUS was elected. This has been declassified 22 years earlier than they wanted it. So what do you think that means?
I am not sure. But I do know that James Clapper and all the intelligence people are freaking out about Trump possibly winning again.
Yeah, so
Did you see that on CNN?
I did not. I don't watch CNN.
Okay. But I don't usually watch CNN either, but
I will tell
Fox
you,
was showing the clip anyway.
for what it's worth, no, I will tell you that I really appreciate the fact that you do watch CNN. I do occasionally. If I see something, I'm like, okay, let me see what they have to say about that. What I really enjoy is when a conservative guest just obliterates them on their own
I used to
channel.
watch CNN more,
Did you?
but
They've
not so
gotten
much.
So insane, man.
Yeah.
So here's the takeaway from this. We have so many things happening in a very short period of time. A lot of interesting and suspicious timing. Did you guys see? So we did the end of the Republican National Convention, right? Do you guys remember the opera song that played that I said we got to talking about? I don't really.
I'm not an opera fan. No.
Do you know what song that was?
I do not.
Hang on. Hang on.
Yeah, I remember talking about that.
Okay. Nessun, I wanted to make sure I get the name right. Nessun Dorma. Okay. What song did they play? Or I should say, what movie did that song feature in? Do you know offhand?
I have no idea.
It's called The Sum of All Fears. Okay. It was a 2002 spy thriller based on the Tom Clancy book of the same name, right? So this, I haven't read this, but it looks like it's going to be what I'm trying to explain to you. The Sum of All Fears movie ending, and Nessun Dorma, meaning explained following Trump's RNC speech. So Donald Trump's Republican National Convention, the RNC speech, ended with the song Nessun Dorma, which can be heard during the ending of The Sum of All Fears. The song is from the final act of the Giacomo Pucci opera Turandot, which premiered in 1926 and is among the best known arias. Arias is songs, I think, right?
I think so.
The song is sung by Kalaf, the unknown prince, who falls in love with a beautiful cold princess. But any man wishing to marry Princess Turandot must first answer her 3 riddles under the threat of beheading should he fail. See, this is why I don't like songs in other languages, because I don't know what's going on. How does The Sum of All Fears end? Have you guys seen the movie The Sum of All Fears? Phenomenal movie. Absolutely incredible, in my opinion. So The Sum of All Fears is based on a book by Tom Clancy of the same name.
Okay.
And there is a CIA agent in there. He's actually an analyst named Jack Ryan.
Okay, I've heard that.
Heard that name before.
I
right?
have.
Okay. Jack Ryan is a recurring character in many of Tom Clancy's books. I've read most of them. Really good books. Nessun Dorma can be heard during the ending scene of The Sum of All Fears, a 2002 spy thriller. The Sum of All Fears kickstarts with an attack on the Super Bowl in Denver, Colorado, along with a false flag attack on U.S. forces stationed in Berlin, Germany, disguised as Soviet soldiers. While the initial suspicion falls on Muslim extremists, the true threat comes from a European neo-Nazi group led by Richard Dressler. The villain sets out to plunge the U.S. and Russia into a nuclear war that would end in mutual destruction and pave the way for a new world order fitting with its extremist beliefs. Jack Ryan deduces the plot's truth through diplomatic communication with the U.S. and Russian governments. Dressler is killed by Israeli agents at his villa in Austria, from where he is implied to originate, to the music of Nessun Dorma. Why did Donald Trump play Nessun Dorma?
Yeah.
Former president and 2024 Republican candidate Trump ended his speech at the RNC with the song Nessun Dorma, sparking questions about the meaning behind his musical choice. As Nessun Dorma famously played during the climax of The Sum of All Fear, a film about eliminating terrorists and deep state actors looking to destabilize the world, many have suggested Trump may have been looking to send a message. During Fox News reporting on RNC, a reporter pointed out how Nessun Dorma was found in The Sum of All Fear, a movie about, quote, getting rid of terrorists and deep state actors. The network pointed out the interesting theory that he may have been looking to send a message to deep state actors. After Trump has vowed to demolish the deep state, the 2024 president-elect hopeful may have been looking to invoke connections to The Sum of All Fear and his promises to ensure global and national peace.
Interesting.
Yeah. It was very, very interesting. The connection there. I didn't pick it up because I don't listen to opera.
I
can't even identify opera songs. It just sounds like to me.
Me too.
That's it. I don't really listen to opera. But it did sound kind of familiar. I was like, huh. But it's been so many years since I've seen Some of All Fears, and then they said that. I'm like, oh.
That's
very interesting.
I think that's probably the theory is right. Trump likes to send messages.
Trump does like to send messages. As a matter of fact, did you know? Okay, so they don't really talk about it anymore, but I'm going to talk about a couple of the messages that Trump has sent.
Okay.
Do you remember the whole water thing? Trump using 2 hands to drink the water, and then he had the Fiji water.
Yep.
Do you remember what that was about?
I don't.
So there was this operation going on, and the head hold on, let me look it up because I want to make sure I get it right. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, so looks like it was around November of 2017.
Okay, yeah. I figured that was the beginning of his presidency.
Where's it at? I gotta find it because okay, so Fiji water was created when founder David Gilmour heard of a study in the early 90s that indicated the existence of the huge 17-mile long aquifer. 17 miles. It's an interesting number. That number has been popping up a lot lately. Just saying. Located on Fiji's main island, Viti Levu, he then obtained a 99-year lease that allowed Fiji Water to tap the resource. Okay, so Fiji Water, right? So, interestingly enough, here we have the firm testing revealed manganese in addition to 3 bacterial genera. According to details published online by the FDA, recall was initiated on March 4th, 2024 for Fiji Water. Okay. What else? Let's see here. It's probably a trying to find it because but put it this way, there's a lot more to the story, right? I can't find it right now. I don't want to give you guys the wrong information because that's worse than no information. But it is very, very odd that people did not understand what was going on here. Okay, anyway, there have been a lot of moments like that where Trump actually sends a message in what he's doing, what he's saying. There have been countless examples of this. One of the most odd that I've seen was the for those of you out there who discredit Q or who say that there's no way that any of that could possibly be real, first of all, the big thing that people point to when they start attacking it is the whole JFK Jr. thing. Now, I want to clarify, and I talked to Vice News actually about this, and there's a reason they chose not to air my interview. But the Q posts themselves do not address JFK Jr. being alive, except there was a Q&A session where people asked, Q, is JFK Jr. alive? And it very specifically said no. Now, those, of course, who, believe it or want to believe it say, oh, that was disinformation. That's necessary to make the deep state actors and Either you trust this source or you don't. So, that said, one of the weirdest coincidences were people asking for Donald Trump to basically verify that Q was connected to the White House. Okay. So one of the things they said, make sure or ask Trump to say tip top, tippity top. Do you remember that?
I don't.
Okay. He had the Easter Bunny at the White House, right? And Trump actually said, I think it was tippity top. Do you remember that?
I
Hang
don't.
on. Okay, 1 second. Let me get this. I actually have to copy and paste this. All right, let's see here. Let me get another tab, Control V, because I'm going to have to. Okay, let me grab this and drag it over here. All right, grab the earbuds.
Okay.
Because and I'll also hopefully I can show you the post as well. It's hard to find stuff about it online because it was so heavily censored, which was a really interesting thing to do for something that's just a LARP. There was a really, really hard push to go after and ban people over this. All right, let me remove this. Share. All right, so check this out. Okay. So this was in 2018. First of all, let me show you the speech, right? See the Easter Bunny over there with the glasses, right? Okay.
Well, welcome to the 2018 White House Easter egg roll. So many people, it was supposed to be pouring, the weather. It was supposed to be very rainy and nasty and cold and windy. And look what we have. Perfect weather. Perfect weather. Beautiful weather. Thank you all for being here, folks. Thank you all. I want to really thank the First Lady, Melania, who has done an incredible job. She worked so hard on this event, and so I want to thank you. That's beautiful. Also, I want to thank the White House Historical Association and all of the people that worked so hard with Melania, with everybody to keep this incredible house or building or whatever you want to call it, because there really is no name for it. It is special. And we keep it in tip-top shape. We call it sometimes tippy-top shape. And it's a great, great place. It's an honor to have everybody on behalf of the Trump family, many of whom are with us right here in the audience. I just want to thank you. This is a special year. Our country is doing great. You look at the economy, you look at what's happening. Nothing's ever easy, but we have never had an economy like we have right now. And we're going to make it bigger and better and stronger. Our military is now at a level, will soon be at a level that it's never been before. It's, you see what's happening, and you see what's happening with funding. The funding of our military was so important, and so many military people are with us today. So just think of $700 billion, because that's all going into our military this year. So I want to thank you all for being here. The band, unbelievable. I love you people. I hear them a lot. They're as talented as anybody and any players anywhere. So thank you very much. And now I'm going to come down and we're going to watch this roll. Thank you all and have a great time. I want to thank the White House Historical Association that worked so hard with Melania, with everybody
I heard it. I think
keep
you missed
this incredible house or
think it's
building or whatever you want to call it, because there really is no name for it. It is special. And we keep it in tip-top shape. We call it sometimes tippy-top shape. And it's a great, great place.
Okay. Okay. It is kind of odd, right? It's an odd reference, but why does that matter? So here's an anti-Q thing posting, right? But even in it, show you guys here. Let's see. Is there a way that I can? No, let's just do this. Okay. All right. This is from ITV News, ITVX. I don't know. I've not heard of these.
I think that's in Britain.
Probably. There's another one on like Axios and all this other stuff. And of course, Media Matters and blah, blah, blah. But this one here, blah, 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 says here, now this is an older article. This is again from November 2018. So shortly after. It says here, there are some riddles about America that I never imagined I would have to unravel. In fact, there are many conspiracy theories that exist in the dark recesses here that I never knew about, even after reporting from the U.S. for more than a decade. Until recently, I was blissfully unaware of the significance of the number 17 to many Americans. I've never pondered the letter Q as a political force. I would have struggled to tell you why thousands of people were exhilarated when Donald Trump used the phrase tippy top from the White House balcony. You're in that crowd. What is so special about that, right? Today, having spent a month researching and filming American conspiracy theories for a documentary for ITV's Tonight program, I feel more informed and more confused at the same time. I have a better grasp, certainly, of why Americans are drawn to the idea of conspiracies and secret plots. But as these theories are turbocharged by the internet, talk radio, and social media, I don't know where it ends. Does America become increasingly paranoid and suspicious, seeing shadows and threats everywhere? Or does it eventually rediscover its equilibrium and return to a belief in reason and science?
How many times have we heard that?
Thank you. Thank you. And bear in mind, guys, I just want to say this for a moment. Regardless of whatever stock you put in this shadowy figure from the internet called Q, right? What is interesting to me is that every single one of the people who so-called debunked this or who said this is all BS, like this guy who's obviously saying, they're seeing shadows everywhere. We just had someone attempt to assassinate Donald Trump. They have worked against him since day one, and it is not limited to one side of the aisle. A lot of people get mixed up thinking, the Democrats. It's not just the Democrats. No. If you paid attention during Donald Trump's term, the Republicans were just as much against him, the deep state Republicans.
On some things.
On a lot of things. There were many instances where he was trying to get his stuff done, and there was this issue or that issue or pushback or this or that. Instead of uniting and going, let's make America great again, they wanted to protect their slush fund. They wanted to protect.
In some ways, yeah.
In some ways, right? Okay. Getting back to this, let me explain those riddles. Q is the name that many Trump-supporting Americans give to the secretive figure they believe exists inside the government who is helping the president defeat his enemies. It's a little off, but they believe that Q will not only ensure Trump's survival, but that he or she will turn the tables and destroy the Democrats in the deep state. And since Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet, his followers attach special significance to that number. That is accurate. Yes, Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet, and there is special significance attached to that number. In the eyes of Q believers, his credibility was enhanced when a follower asked Q to get President Trump to say tip top. Sure enough, Trump did use those words, although he had used the phrase before, and there's no evidence of a link between the president and the Q conspiracy theory. Okay. America has always been awash with such ideas. Blah, 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 blah. It goes on. Oh, what's really funny, it says, from the hysteria of the 17th century Salem witch trials. Okay, that was horrific. And what a lot of people don't understand is there's a lot more to that story. What's interesting about the Salem witch trials is that in many, many cases, it was people in power who didn't want their power threatened. So they would accuse someone of being a witch so that they'd have everything taken away.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. There's a reason Trump kept saying witch hunt. If you learn about the actual Salem witch trials and what was involved in it, through to the paranoid McCarthy era, okay.
You're a communist.
You're a communist. What's really interesting to me is look at what communism has done to this country.
Very true.
Remember, as a matter of fact, there was a guy, I think former KGB officer, who was interviewed, and he talked about how they were going to take over the United States, and everything he said is coming to pass.
They said that your children will accept communism or something to that effect.
Yeah, they will embrace it. They will welcome it. We won't have to fight it. Excuse me. We won't have to invade you. Your children will welcome it. Funny how that works, huh? We are hearing this all the time from these college kids that have been taught by their professors that somehow communism hasn't killed millions and millions and millions of people because it's never been done right or something to that effect. It gets better. To the JFK assassination, which we all know now, the official story is BS.
Yep.
The Warren Commission was a joke. The official story that there was a lone gunman is crap.
And the gunman was a CIA asset. We learned a couple years ago. Can't think of his name now. Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yes, he was a CIA asset. He was connected to the CIA. And there is ample evidence that the CIA was involved in more ways than one there. So, okay. And 9/11. Are you really going to pick 9/11 as a fake? Right? Look, I have talked about 9/11 before, generally very respectfully, because I did I think it was the 20-year anniversary. I did a video. I didn't talk about the conspiracy theories. I talked about the people that lost their lives there. But ultimately, you know that jet fuel does not melt steel. It just doesn't. They've done test after test after test. At the same time, you're not going to find a passport on the ground right by from someone that was supposedly in a plane. There's also, it goes on and on. I have seen multiple documentaries, and I'm not talking about, not that there's anything wrong with this. I'm not talking about a guy who did a YouTube video. I mean, actual investigative reporting on 9/11. And once again, the official report is garbage.
Okay.
There's
people that died. Let's make it clear. There was innocent people that died on 9/11.
Yes. And my heart goes out to those people. It goes out to the families. Those people, they're innocent.
You're just saying that the government's not telling us the whole story.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yes, I'm saying that the government is not being truthful with everything that went into that. The other thing is Building 7. You know about Building 7?
I do.
Okay. Building 7 suffered no structural damage, wasn't hit by any planes, and was brought down somehow. There is a considerable amount of evidence that it was a controlled demolition on that building. The other 2, that's something else, right? But Tower 7 was separate from the 2 big ones. 3 buildings came down that day. A lot of Americans only think 2 buildings came down. Look into Tower 7, specifically the words "pull it."
And there was a lot of problems with the 9/11 Commission report. They even admit it.
Exactly. I mean, we could do multiple shows on 9/11. But moving on, all have fueled Americans' obsession with conspiracies and raised doubts about whether official explanations are accurate. I do agree with that. But today, something much more remarkable has occurred. Suddenly, the conspiracy theorist in chief is on the inside. He works from the White House. He is the president of the United States of America. Donald Trump has weaponized conspiracy theories for his own political benefit. Indeed, he came to political prominence by riding on the back of the birther movement, the pernicious lie that claims that Barack Obama was born in Africa and therefore was an illegitimate president. Now, I have no idea where Barack Obama was actually born. No clue whatsoever. What I will say is that there are multiple examples that the particular birth certificate that was provided as proof have issues. I also find it very, very suspicious, though inconclusive, that a particular individual that was responsible for producing said birth certificate suddenly died in an otherwise uneventful plane crash. Do you remember that?
I do not. But that was one of the reasons why I couldn't vote for, one of the many reasons why I couldn't vote for Trump in 2016.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It bothered me, the whole birther.
Okay. So let me ask you this. If you discovered that Donald Trump was accurate, what would your mind, like, how would that change your mind about things?
I mean, I support Trump now.
No, I get that. But how would that alter your thinking? If suddenly you saw, right, that the evidence that he presented was indeed factual and that, oh my God, he actually isn't what he said he is, talking about Obama, would that change your mind about some things?
I don't know.
I wish I could remember the name of the lady that died. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see here. I can't think of her name. If you guys can remember, it was a female. She used to be, I think, the secretary in Hawaii. Basically, she was like the Secretary of Health and Human Services or something. She died after a plane crash. Everybody else was fine. There were claims that there was a diver in the water who injected her and she died. But I can't remember her name. Let's see here. Okay, it looks like it might have been in 2014, possibly. Yes, here it is. Okay, so here is the person that I'm talking about. Oh, wrong one. Let's see if it'll switch. Nope. Let's finish this and then I'll talk about that. Whether it is believing votes have been deliberately miscounted in the midterm elections or that there's a deep state conspiracy against him, Trump is playing to the anxiety of millions of Americans who already have a profound distrust of government and mainstream sources of news. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is it right here. Basically, when besieged by talk of fake news with a president who portrays much of the media as the enemy of the people, America is at a crossroads. Now, what I find very interesting, this is dated. This is from 2018, right? Honest question. Since 2018, have the media proved themselves more or less trustworthy?
Less. Definitely less.
Definitely less. The mainstream media has proven themselves far less
Uh-huh.
trustworthy. Isn't that interesting? Let's see here. All right, so I got this one for you, right? Okay, here it is. Hawaii health director killed after plane crash had infant life vest. Okay, this was published May 5th, 2016. Updated May 5th, 2016. Okay, this is really small. Hold on. Kalapapa Molokai, Hawaii News Now. The Hawaii health director who died in 2013, she died when the small plane she was in ditched in waters off Molokai was wearing a faulty infant life vest, the NTSB says in a new report. State Health Director Loretta Fuddy, that's the name, Loretta Fuddy died in the water, and her cause of death was listed as an irregular heartbeat triggered by stress. Meanwhile, the NTSB also says that the 60-year-old pilot of the Makani Kai airplane failed to give the 8 passengers on board a federally mandated safety briefing prior to takeoff. Details, blah, 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 has not released the exact cause of the December 11, 2013 crash. According to the report, the pilot experienced a loss of engine power about 2 minutes after takeoff. Okay, so now that I have the name, Loretta Fuddy, there are pictures out there that show what looked to be someone in the water with her. Now, once again, Hawaii health director, who was the director at the time that Obama ran for office. Did you see the press briefing that Sheriff Clark gave on Obama's birth certificate? I'm not saying it's real, fake. I'm not saying any of this. I am not I am not a fake documents analyst. I have no idea. But did you watch it?
That was a while ago. I don't remember if I saw it or not.
So I think Sheriff David Clark, actually hired private investigators to look into the birth certificate and to see if it was indeed legit or not. Every single piece of evidence pointed to it not being legit. Now, I don't know where he was born. I don't care. What's interesting, though, is that Obama's brother, Malik Obama, have you heard of him?
I have.
He's firmly Trump, Trump, Trump. And he also says Obama was not born in Hawaii. Now, I don't know. I want to make that perfectly clear. I have no idea.
Yeah.
However, that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to all the weird, crazy stuff that's going on. Now, why do I even bring this up? Because so many people throw shade on Trump because of the whole birther thing. Like you said, that was one of several reasons why you're like, no. If it turns out that Trump was indeed accurate about that, how does that change the way you look at other things he's said or done that are maybe like,
That's true. It would give it more credibility if to prove it.
Right. It's just a thought experiment, just a question. I'm not saying either way because I have no evidence at all. What I am saying, though, hold on, let me see if I can find something about this. Let's see here. Okay, so apparently there's a video that was actually in the. Okay, hold on. So this is a YouTube video that I'm not going to play the video. Okay. So allegedly this debunks the scuba diver thing. right? I have not seen this, but it is, this person says, it's weird they left the plane that was still floating. Oh, you guys can't see it. Sorry. Here we go. This is, here, we're just going to do this. No audio there. So I'm not going to play the video, but this is the video. It's supposed to be debunked assassination of Loretta Fuddy by scuba diver. I haven't seen the video. But the comments say here, yeah, it's weird they left the plane that was still floating. And someone somehow, I think it means, only Fuddy got a child life jacket. Seems to me she was never supposed to survive that flight. This says there's no such thing as a child or infant life jacket on a commercial airplane. There's only one size fits all. But it was here's the thing, it was a small plane. It wasn't a full-size 747. And it might have even been a chartered flight. So in chartered flights, they do indeed have infant size or child size life jackets. It says, according to the NTSB, 2 people got infant life jackets. I'm not one for conspiracies, but this seems like some cover-up type thing. If this is a murder conspiracy, that means you have to provide a motive to kill her and risks these people to do so, except that this diver was waiting. The plane would have had to crash near him, close enough for him to swim there. We should be able to see him under the water if we can see a fin, rebreather, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. I look into this if you haven't heard of it already. I find it interesting. I don't know if I necessarily believe it.
It is interesting.
It is interesting. I like interesting things. And I like digging into conspiracy theories. Often they turn out to be just not enough evidence, right? The claims that these people make just have no evidence. In this case, and the entire point of getting to this is, if you look at solely what was posted on the forums or on the site by this individual going by Q, nowhere does it say some of the outlandish stuff that these people have run with, right? There's like Princess Diana is like, I've mentioned this before. Princess Diana survived and she's actually Barron Trump's mother. Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, man. And maybe it's true, but here's the thing. There's not enough evidence.
Yeah.
Right.
Not likely. I don't buy
the
it.
other thing is that JFK Jr. is alive.
I've heard that one.
Yeah, many times. He was supposed to be Trump's VP and this and that. One interesting thing that I did find fascinating that lends a tiny bit of credence is during a live chat session with RFK Jr., he was asked, touch your nose if JFK Jr. is still alive. Have you heard this?
I have not.
He did indeed touch his nose and smiled at the camera.
Really?
Yes. So, like I said, I don't know. I haven't met him in person.
Maybe it was a coincidence, or he's just playing around.
It's possible. Like I said, anything's possible. But as far as actual direct evidence, there doesn't seem to be enough, right? So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Again, timing is everything. There are so many wild coincidences. And legit question, how many times can something happen until it's no longer a coincidence? How many things happen to line up until it's mathematically impossible for this to be a coincidence?
Good question.
Yeah, it's something to think about, right? Have you ever, just out of curiosity, have you ever sat down and gone through the actual Q drops?
No, I don't think I have.
I think that would make for an interesting video because there are some very, very interesting. A lot of the links are no longer like valid because many of them went to pre-purge Twitter. Do you guys like remember? So they kicked Trump off Twitter, and at the same time, or there very, very shortly after, they also kicked me off of Twitter.
And you were running for office.
I was running for office. I had a full active. So I didn't want them to kick me off on my personal, but I got it right. I had some spicy stuff on there. Some of the more, I like to discuss conspiracy theories. I don't necessarily.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
Disgusting. That's how it should be.
Yeah, you should be able to talk
Uh-huh.
about things. That's what free speech is all about.
Uh-huh.
I don't necessarily believe all of them, but I do find it interesting. Let's have that discussion. Let's see, is this real? Is it fake? Is it this? Is it that? But they purged anyone who even mentioned Q. Boom, all at once. Now, that, along with the pages, if you look up Q or QAnon or whatever in the search engines, right, you'll get page upon page upon page of mainstream media calling it a conspiracy theory, a this, a that, right? They purged everyone. Why all this focus on an alleged LARP or fake or conspiracy theory thing? I mean, it's just a question, right? Why so much focus on it? I have found it very interesting to just read what the actual posts are and to say, okay, if this were true, right? Or if we applied this logic to it. And one of the things that's constantly asked is how many times until coincidence isn't mathematically possible?
Good question.
And it's something to think about, and that's the thing. Ultimately, that's what it's all about, is this is something to think about. I don't know what I'm not the arbiter of truth. I don't know what's fact versus fiction unless there's evidence for it, right? We have a very evidence-based way of looking at the world. And the evidence says the deep state is alive and well.
Oh, yeah.
They absolutely, the bureaucracy that is not just Washington, D.C., but our state, county governments as well. There's that undercurrent of no matter who's actually elected to a position, the bureaucracy under them, it runs itself. And those people are not going to allow anything that actually that actually has a chance of affecting their level of power.
Mm-hmm. One of the many reasons why they don't like Trump.
That's exactly it. And as I've stated before, there are things that Trump said and done that I disagree with. But there are many, many more that he said and done that I agree with wholeheartedly. For one, America first. You know what I find? Oh my God, that reminds me. Did you see the? I think it was the Democrats, but I don't remember. Hold on, let me see if I can find it, because this is funny. One of the Democrats said, "Make America Great Again." Did you see that?
I did not.
Hold on.
That's interesting.
This was hilarious. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find it. Come on. Okay, this is all too old. Hold on. No. Okay, I will find it, because this. Oh, you know what? Hold on.
Was it Biden?
It was no. He struggled. He almost said "Make America Great Again," but it wasn't that. Hold on, I will find it, because I saw it not that long ago. Let me look at my history real quick and see if I can.
That would have been something if he would have said.
Yeah, he didn't. He struggled with it. He almost. Oh, here it is. I found it. Okay.
All right, I want to see this.
Okay, hold on. Let me get past this.
See who it is. Oh, turn on.
I am. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Let's get rid of that. All right, here we go. First of all, hold on. Let me get it out. I want to tell you guys where it comes from. So this is hot U.S. news that this channel comes from. It's like 4,000 subscribers or so. Yeah. So, all right, here we go. Rep Joyce Beatty. Yes, we are.
I thought that was something that Democrats would never say.
Right? Isn't that amazing? Yeah, I saw that and I'm like, oh my God, I got to make sure I show this to Shawn.
I totally missed that.
Even the Democrats want to make America great again. They're just afraid to tell you. That's what it comes down to. They want you to vote for Trump because the only way you're going to make America great again is by voting Donald J. Trump. I saw it. I'm like, oh my God, dude, no way. All right. Anything else you wanna mention? We're gonna stop here. Join us again at 7, and we're gonna break down the Secret Service director, former Secret Service director's testimony before Congress. There are some really good moments in here, and anyone who says that there was not a conspiracy to kill Donald Trump is full of it. Like definitively, without a doubt, her lack of answers really says volumes. Anything else you want to jump in there with before we?
Not really.
We
No.
got to get ready. We're going to charge our stuff up because I use a couple of battery-driven devices for the show.
It's funny that she said that though. She's a congressman from Ohio, if it matters.
There we go. She is a U.S. Congresswoman from Ohio. So yes, Ohio, make America great again. That's it for us for now. Again, 7 o'clock. We'll see you soon. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Like always, God bless you. God bless Indiana. God bless the United States of America. And God bless Trump's ear.
See you at 7.
Yep. See you in a few minutes. Good night.
If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose. This has been Dion's Daily Dose, hosted by Dion Bergeron. Executive producers, Shawn Holmgren and Michael Beebe. Copyright 2024. Dion's Daily Dose, all rights reserved.